Welcome into the ASU Hockey Recruiting Show. I'm Nick Marek alongside head coach Greg Powers. And coach, you guys obviously had a fantastic run in the 2013 ACHA National Championship, a Final Four appearance, the first in school history. Couple of goals short, however, but it looks like you're rebuilding already for the future. The 2013 class slowly getting renamed. Already 3 names officially announced: Robert Levin, goaltender, and then 2 defensemen, Alex Temby and Troy Hoban. So, coach, what do you expect? How come only 3 names? Are there going to be more to come in the future?
There'll be more. And any collegiate program goes kind of midsummer before they're completely done with their recruiting classes. And we have a few more kids signed now, and we're still waiting on a handful of really high-level kids that are teetering with different decisions. So it's a constant work in progress, throughout 365 days out of the year, and now is when it gets down to the nitty-gritty. A lot of these kids play junior A hockey, and their seasons are still going. So it's tough for them to focus on recruiting and getting calls from college coaches, and then focus on trying to win a championship in their own league that they're still playing in. So it's a lot of fun, but it's stressful. It's even more stressful for the players because it's probably the biggest decision they'll ever make.
Well, and just to clue in the fans, obviously this 2013 class is going to be one for the ages, but just to preview the class as a whole, I mean, you know more of the names that's been released, so are you getting a good feel out of this group? Is this going to be one of the better ones you've had in recent years?
Yeah, I anticipate it to be, from top to bottom, definitely the deepest, and that's not a knock on previous classes because last year was phenomenal, and the year before was very good as well. But this one is we lost 7 guys, and then next year we have some really big producers, and a guy like Cale Dolinsky and Colin Heckel and Brian McGinty and Danny McAuliffe that are seniors. So, I mean, it's time to really start thinking about life without those guys, even though we have them for one more year. But in a perfect world, we want to bring in some young studs to kind of learn the ropes from such good, successful vets. And that's the theory, and me bringing in a good handful of guys this year.
All right, well, let's talk about the future replacement, so to speak, or maybe immediate studs. I guess we'll find out shortly. But Robert Levin, we'll highlight him first. He's a goaltender coming in to Arizona State. Stands about 6 foot tall in net. A fantastic career over in juniors. Really excelled. I know you're pretty pleased to add a goaltender to your already proven great core.
Yeah, he Robert's a very good goalie. He was incredibly highly recruited by a handful of NCAA Division I programs, and actually chose ASU over Niagara, who was recruiting him as early as late as last week. So we're very pleased that he chose to come here, and he's a kid that it could be a difference maker for us for sure for 4 years. So we're happy Robert's coming. Played in a really good league that not a lot of people out in West, and especially up in Western Canada, like I said earlier this week, know about. The EJHL is a league that develops a lot of Division I players at the NCAA level, and it's a good league, and he led that league in a lot of categories.
Well, I know he's a forward, but Chris Drury is one of the guys that come out of that league. Is it almost easier to recruit now that you have the players? You built such a good core on your team that even recruits seem to respect them coming in. So how does that show in just a matter of 3 years how much this Sun Devil program has come around, and the fact that Robert Levin is going to be a guy you can go to in net?
The growth of our program has been amazing, and the best recruiters we have are players. They're not. It's not me. It's not Coach Blasi. It's our players. And if players are happy and you treat them the right way, then they're going to be honest with other players that they played with. Or when I'm recruiting a kid that may not know one of our guys, I can have them talk and introduce them, and they'll tell them what they need to hear. So players are the best recruiters, and we have an incredible core that we just lost. But more importantly for us, as the future is concerned, we have an amazing core next year as a group of seniors, and it's going to be a good year.
Well, funny you say that players are a big part of your recruiting, because next up on the list is Alex Temby, a defenseman who will be joining you guys in the fall. So what's a guy like that going to add with 3 defensemen already gone due to graduation, and Darcy Charwal, Ryan Clark, and Brian Parson? What's Alex going to bring to your program?
Experience. And in college hockey, it's different than basketball or football, because you're bringing in kids that are more developed, not only physically from playing 2 or 3 years of junior hockey, but mentally, their maturity levels that much more, advanced when they've played, a couple years of junior hockey and they come in as a 20-year-old, and that's what Alex did. He played 2 years, actually 3 years in the NAHL and won a championship there. So he's a kid that mentally can come in right away and add to what we need and fill a void from one of the 3 seniors that we lost, and all 3 of those guys were tremendous players. So Alex is a kid that we're going to look to for, to be quite honest, for leadership right away, even as a freshman. And he's a kid that I think can go out there, lead by example. He's got great character. He's a tremendous student off the ice, which is always something we try to get as well. So very pleased that he's going to come. Very good defensively and sound, and plays very smart, and we're happy he's coming.
With those 3 names, I think all of them are going to make an immediate impact. But before we get on later in the show, we actually have Alex joining us on the phone right now. Congratulations, Alex, on committing with the Sun Devils. But after spending a few years in a prestigious junior league, you had a couple of college offers, but why was ASU your choice?
Obviously, I mean, I evaluated all my options and opportunities, and at the end of the season, I went down to visit with my dad. And as it turned out, I mean, after talking to Coach Powers and obviously with Jordan Young, everything is positive about it.
My understanding, one of your longtime friends, teammates, and even opponent at one time, Jordan Young, you're going to play alongside him on the blue line. So did he play a factor at all in this decision?
Oh, yeah, definitely. He actually, him and his dad, Kevin, actually introduced me to the ASU program. It kind of came out of the blue, but obviously I respect Jordan's opinion, and he had nothing to say but good things about the program, and after I really took a hard look at it, I knew it was the place for me.
So if it is the place for you, then what do you hope to bring to this ASU program?
I'm really looking to add to an already strong defensive core and pretty much try to contribute in any way possible.
Well, contributing may come back to 2012 when you won a national championship with the Tornado. So how do you feel having that championship series experience is going to help you when you come to ASU?
Obviously, it was a very good experience, and I think that experience will help bring to the ASU program because, I know what it takes, the hard work, the dedication that it takes to, win a national championship. I think that'll be some valuable information that I can bring along to the teammates.
Well, it's good to hear for Sun Devil fans because this team was a Final Four team last year and basically on the verge of winning one. But what people do know about you, obviously, Alex, is that you're a lockdown defender. There's no doubts about it. But what they may not know is that you've been working on your offensive game. So how do you feel your offense has evolved as a player?
I think it's developed over my career. I mean, I've always, taken pride in my defensive work. But for the last couple of years, I've really focused on, getting more involved in the play, whether that be, joining the rush or jumping into the zone and getting shots on net.
Anything you're specifically excited for coming down to Arizona?
There's a lot to be excited for at ASU. Obviously, the hockey program and the great support we get from the community. But, I mean, attending ASU itself is a great school and has a lot to offer. So I'm excited about the whole experience.
Well, I know Sun Devil fans are eager to see you come here. So thank you very much, Alex, and we look forward to definitely seeing you this fall.
All right, thank you.
All right, well, Coach, obviously we know that Alex now brings in a championship mentality. So what's that going to do, knowing with the Texas Tornado, a pretty big team in his juniors to take out the 2012 championship, and you guys are just on the brink of that. So is Alex the kind of guy that you need to help, bring to the locker room and say, we can do this, boys?
I wouldn't expect Alex as a freshman and a first-year guy to come into the room and be vocal that way. If he ends up being that way, great, but we have such good leaders, he won't need to. What he's going to bring is that experience of succeeding on the ice in the big moment. And that's what is going to be expected out of him, to help us win a championship on the ice and make our unit come together cohesively and perform when it matters most, because he's done that. So that's where I think he's really going to help us.
When we also heard too with Jordan Young, one of the big reasons why you came here to ASU, why you chose that. So did you talk to Jordan at all about? Was he the first one who approached you about Alex?
He was. He was actually the first one that I didn't know who Alex was, and Jordan's a smart kid. He's got a great hockey mind, and I think he probably one day will be a really good coach. But Jordy came to me and knowing that we were losing 3 key guys on the back end, and asked who I was talking to, for defense, and brought up Alex and got his information from Jordy and called him, and here we are.
Well, fans aren't aware too, Jordan Young is wearing the assistant A now on his sweater, so maybe because he can become a future coach like you, so look out in the shoes of Coach Powers. But before we get into Troy, what is the fact that losing 3 guys on defense now, you're going to look to especially Alex and Troy and probably some future defensemen soon to come on the list. Are they going to need to make an immediate impact? It's going to be a very underclassmen-driven team.
It is, from the back end standpoint, it's going to be heavily driven by underclassmen, I think we have Kyle Hughes he might be the elder statesman on the back end as a junior. And then you have Blomgren and Richie and Jordy who will all be sophomores, and Kunze, he's going to be in his second year with the program at the D1 level. So the most experienced guys back there, or guy, will be Kyle Hughes. So, again, that's the advantage of college hockey, is you bring in guys that are experienced playing the game. It's a different game than juniors, but we're bringing in the kind of guys that are going to adjust very quickly and be very successful.
Well, and speaking of that success, Troy Hoban's won, much like Alex, to have success over in the Manitoba Junior Hockey League. So what was your big decision in bringing him in? It's my understanding you've been talking with Troy for about a year.
Troy and I came in contact around this time last year, maybe a little bit later, midsummer, but really liked the way he played, watched a lot of film on Troy. Stayed in close contact with him, handled himself very well, very professional, very mature. Loved the fact that he wore a letter for his junior team, so he was a captain, knows how to lead, really just tremendous skating defenseman, moves the puck very well, fits into our style of play very well, plays in a very physical league, so understands that taking care of our defensive zone is going to be first and foremost, especially at his position. But just overall, total package. I think he probably went a little bit under-recruited because of where he was in the MJ, all the way up in Nipawin. And they weren't an incredibly strong team this year, so I think that hurt him a little bit. But we're happy he's going to be a Sun Devil.
Well, before we wrap up the final defenseman, at least of this segment, we have him waiting on call with us up north in cold cold St. Paul, Minnesota. Holy smokes, up there. So let's get it over to Troy. Troy, congratulations on signing with the Sun Devils. You're going to bring a lot to this program that's already proven national championship contending team. So why'd you end up choosing ASU?
Well, there are quite a few reasons I chose ASU. I guess the biggest reasons would be the winning mentality that the team has and the great coaching staff. The weather and the great school played a part in it, but definitely the team and the coaches, and just it's a well-run program, and I know coming into ASU that we're going to be a winning team.
Did you feel like your relationship with head coach Greg Powers grew over the past couple months?
Yeah, I actually started talking to him before my season started last summer, and just throughout the season and coming into the end of the season here, our relationship is growing, and it's pretty good now.
Was it a tough decision to choose ASU, or did you have a couple other options that you had to weigh?
It wasn't too tough a decision. I have a friend who goes to Arizona, and he's always Arizona State, and he's always talked well with the school and things like that. So I was always leaning towards coming to ASU.
And now you spent a couple years in the MJHL. So can you just kind of give the fans a little bit of taste of what your experience was like there and how you grew as a player?
The MJHL, it's a great league up in Manitoba in Canada, and it's a very physical league. And so coming from playing high school, I wasn't used to the physicality of the league, so I really grew in strength and size-wise through playing in that league. And the speed of the game up there is a lot quicker than I was used to as well, so that helped me grow as a player.
Now, what do you personally plan on bringing to Arizona State?
I would like to bring a little offensive power to the D line or to the defensive core, and I'd like to make make myself into a solid two-way defender.
Next year's group's going to be a lot of freshmen and sophomore on the defensive side. Does that give you any confidence knowing that it's really your time to shine and you guys have a lot that you guys can prove?
Yeah, I mean, most places when you come in, you're not gonna, as a freshman, you're not going to be able to play a whole lot, but knowing that there's going to be some holes to fill, it really gives you the confidence knowing that you're going to have to step up and be right with the team right away. And I also know that there's already a solid defenseman on the team from the previous year, so I'm sure they will lead the new guys in and show us the ropes.
All right, well, Sun Devil fans will certainly get a chance to know you next semester when you step foot in the fall. But thanks for joining us, Troy, and best of luck to you this summer, and we look forward to seeing you in fall.
Yeah, I look forward to being there.
All right, so Coach, obviously Troy playing a couple years up in Canada. You like to recruit in Canada, obviously, with all the names on the roster. Obviously, Captain Canada, Colin Heckel, one of them. So you mentioned earlier having the leadership. Do you feel like he's going to come in and make an immediate impact as a freshman?
Yeah, I mean, he's capable. He led his team for 2 years and was looked to as the leader in that locker room and on the ice. And those are the kind of kids we want. We want kids that aren't going to get caught up in the big moment, because we plan on playing in the biggest moment. And we played in a lot of those this year, playing against an NCAA D1 team. Every time we play U of A, it's a very intense situation, and you have to be able to perform in that moment. So we want kids that we're looked to as leaders and as go-to guys in their current organizations, and that's been a philosophy we've had here for a few years, and every year we're getting better.
What would you tell a guy like Troy or even Alex coming in to your program on really what to expect from these teams in the ACHA, also kind of the team they're going to be already have to build in with? Because Troy's a guy who hasn't had a chance to talk to many players in the team, so it's kind of going to be a fresh start for him, and we know almost the family that this ASU hockey is.
Yeah, that's what new guys will find out very quickly, and the new guys that came last year found out is that our group of core vets, they're very welcoming. We preach chemistry, and family atmosphere, and these kids will be welcomed with open arms, and that's all on the players, and I have a tremendous amount of trust in our leadership core, and even the guys that aren't wearing letters, they're all good kids, and they know that these new guys that are being announced and the ones that we will continue to announce throughout the summer are coming in to help. They're coming here to help us get better and to help us win and accomplish our main goal of winning a championship. So, that's what it's all about. You always have to keep your eye on the prize. It's not about, being replaced. It's not about, nobody's a threat. They're coming here to help, and that's just all part of the process. But our guys are smart enough that they get that.
Well, Coach, you certainly have 3 quality assets coming in to your program, and we look forward to seeing the rest of the recruiting class as it unfolds. But for Sun Devil fans, 3 names already enjoying, you can start looking up on and getting ready to see them this coming fall. But stay tuned to the Walter Cronkite Sports Network throughout the later months and into the summer, even as we officially release the official 2013 recruiting class. So, Coach, thanks again for joining us, and look forward to more hockey in the future.
Thanks.